Hello, all you beautiful and amazing people. Thank you for tuning in. Welcome to my second live stream ever. Sorry for the long delay. If you had to skip through a bunch of that opening, I do apologize. I was getting everything set up and, trying to let some people jump in here or whatever. So, again, I do apologize for the delay, but here we are. We're live streaming. And I wanted to talk to you guys today about really some crazy stuff that's going on in the oh my god, I'm so freaking lost right now. All right, so really, sorry guys, I'm getting kind of lost here on what I was doing. This is, like I said, my second ever live stream, and so I'm still trying to figure out the flow of all this. Basically, what I want to do is I want to talk about China denying the lab leak theory that anybody who has followed me on this channel knows I've said that from the very beginning, that it came from the Wuhan lab. And but now China's denying the leak theory at all, even though multiple agencies now have come out and said, in the U.S., have come out and said that it's viable. They're not actually saying it is conclusive, but they're saying it's a viable theory. Now, it just seemed like it's kind of dark in here. I know this is going to be kind of awkward, but I don't know. It looks all right. All right. I don't know. Anyways, so this is terrible. This is a terrible live stream. Oh my God, this is so horrible. Anyways, I wanted to get into the whole lab leak theory and why China is denying it. Also, there's some interesting news going on about the Alex Murdaugh trial as it's wrapping up. Apparently, he was caught lying on stand, and now it looks like he may get convicted. We'll talk about that. Also, CPAC, I think, started yesterday or is starting soon, and so we're going to talk about that and much more. We're just going to get into we're going to get into the weeds into this live stream. So if you've stuck in this far, bless your heart, right? So hell, you know what? It's a train wreck, and we're going to ride it out. Yeehaw, baby. So first, I want to get into this first story here that from timcast.com. U.S. government now supports COVID lab leak theory. New classified document from the Energy Department says fresh intelligence led officials to draw a conclusion that virus escaped from a lab in China. Now, first of all, I want to know what fresh intelligence they got, because you can go back and look in 2021. There was I don't know if the video is still up on YouTube, because it may have been taken down. But I did say this very early on in 2021, and if it's not on YouTube, go check it out on Rumble. But because it might be there too. But I know I said it multiple times that this was from a lab. Whether it was leaked or not, I'll leave that to the conspiracy people and the government to discern all that, right? Like, I have my theories, and if you want to know those theories that I can't say here on YouTube, head on over to Locals and become a member. That's where I say all of the stuff I'm not allowed to say on YouTube, and some stuff that I would rather not have to deal with Rumble. Well, I mean, Locals and Rumble are together, but short videos, I'm not going to put those kind of videos up on Rumble. That's why I stick to, my main videos and hopefully edits from this live stream. But if you want to hear all the spicy stuff, head on over to Locals and become a member, because that's where it really gets spicy. Also, if you become a member, you'll also get access to articles that I write and content that I put up only on Locals. So become a member. But this article here, I found it interesting because China is denying that this came from a lab, and they're sticking to the whole wet market, natural phenomenon thing, right? And so it's like, I don't think anyone believes that anymore, especially when you look at how corrupt the WHO is and how they're in China's pocket, basically. So, I would say that this is China trying to deflect, right? But nevertheless, they do deny that it came from a lab. China responds to U.S. Energy Department's revised Wuhan lab theory. In this article, it says China officials said Monday that certain parties should stop politicizing the origins of COVID after the U.S. Department of Energy assessed that the virus likely leaked from the laboratory in Wuhan, China. During a press conference, Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Mao Ning said that origins tracing of the virus should be referred back to a March 2021 report published by China and the World Health Organization officials, which concluded with an extreme unlikely verdict about the lab leak theory. Now, of course, right, they're going to say that. They're going to say it didn't come from this lab because they don't want to be responsible, or they don't want to be held accountable for, what happened because of that outbreak, right? I mean, it was a pandemic, a worldwide pandemic. And whether it leaked or whether it was somehow otherwise disseminated into the, or put out into the public, however you want to say it, it came from China. There's no doubt about that. We have no doubt about that, right? And so those people who believe that it came from a wet market and that somebody just was eating bats and got it, I want you to consider human nature. Just consider that in your theories and your hypothesis, and then in their story, right? Just insert human nature into that. Then insert power and see what happens, right? Anytime you anytime a person, right, has the opportunity to get more power, they take it. Almost every single time. I mean, and even in the littlest ways, right? Every little bit of power that a human can get, they will take. And if they see an opportunity to take it, some people will use whatever means they want. That's what I use when I read these articles and I listen to China's official statements or the Biden administration's official statements or the Trump administration's official statements. They all, I look at it from that lens, right? Human nature and the power dynamic. Because to me, humans innately just crave it, right? Like, so these people, China, can gain a foothold in the world markets by crushing the American economy, right? by releasing a virus or leaking the virus, right? Then why wouldn't they do it? Especially if it was from a research facility that they have. Like, that to me is just, I don't know. Like, maybe I have a cynical view on the world, but to me, it doesn't matter who you are. You can be the sweetest person in the world. If you're given the opportunity to have immense power, 9 times out of 10, you're going to take it. And like I said, maybe I just have a cynical view of the world. But China, nevertheless, is denying it, and they keep referring back to a study done 2 years ago, or a report given out 2 years ago. Like, you don't think we're going to find new information? But those of us who were tuned in March 2021 knew that that was a whole lot of horse crap, right? That common sense would dictate that that's where it came from. I mean, the wet market is what, like right down the street? How convenient. Come on. So for me, this whole lab leak theory, realization or whatever that the media is coming to me, they're 2 years too late. Like I said this 2 years ago, and like I said, if you want to check out some of those other comments I have, head on over to Locals, become a member. But one of the other things that I like to do on my channel is I like to review TV shows and movies and video games and stuff like that, right? And so over the past weekend, I watched this documentary with my wife about the Alex Murdaugh murders or whatever, and on the one on Netflix. And I thought it was really interesting. Like, I had never heard of this story. I had seen his name a few times, in news articles or whatever, because of the trial that's going on. But I didn't know who he was or what the story was behind it until I watched this documentary. Now, quick review on the documentary. I thought it was really good. It's very interesting. And now that you see how the trial played out, it kind of made the documentary, to me, like, the documentary could have been biased. I don't know. I won't say one way or the other, but what I will say is it was good. It was very interesting, and again, this plays into that whole power thing that I was talking about. This family had a lot of power in South Carolina, in the lowlands or whatever, where they're low country, I think is what it's called. And so, sorry guys, I'm trying to work on something here. Here we go. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to pull this up. Oh. Looks like we're getting an error here, huh? We got issues. Apologize for the issues, my friends. What's going on with my stream all of a sudden? Oh, no. let's just close that. Okay, what's going on here? I do apologize for the technical difficulties, guys. Like I said, this is my first time streaming. It seems like we're streaming okay on OBS. According to this, but according to YouTube, got a low bit rate and it's buffering, but it looks fine on my OBS here. Okay, yeah, see? Oh, well, that's all right. We're just gonna close this. Yeah, see, it still says it's not receiving enough to maintain the stream. Huh. That's weird. Because it looked fine on. Yeah, I mean, this says 0 frames dropped. I don't know, guys. Let me know in the chat. Is it buffering or what? Like, how's the stream coming through? Because this getting mixed signals here from two different things, so I don't know what's going on. But anyways, like I was saying, if it is buffering, I apologize. I'm working on it. There we go. So, like I said, I do reviews and stuff here, and we watched that Alex Murdaugh documentary. It was really good, and it got me interested in the trial a little bit. And unfortunately, it's coming to an end right now. But it was interesting to find out that when Alex Murdaugh testified, he was caught in a lie, and that I thought was really interesting. Right? I found this article from CNN of all places. Alex Murdaugh's lie about his whereabouts and his reversal weigh heavily as murder trial finishes, legal experts say. Right? So they go on to say that he initially said in his report that he was nowhere near the dog kennels on the property until he found his son, shot there. And the prosecutors later produced a video that was taken earlier that night where he was at the kennels with his son, like just before he was killed. So, according to the coroner's time of death, right? So, the prosecutors are basically saying that Alex Murdaugh's alibi was fabricated after he killed his wife and son. And when you watch the documentary, right? Because I'm not really going to get into the case too much because I honestly didn't follow it and I don't know a whole lot about it, so I'm not really going to speak about the case. But the fact that he lied and then was caught on the stand, just with what I saw in the documentary, it does not surprise me at all. And it actually kind of reaffirms what I initially thought when I watched the documentary, that, yeah, this family utilizes their power in the county to, garner influence and, cover things up and whatever. And like I said, you watch that documentary, you'll definitely see what I'm talking about. But again, that goes to the whole thing I was talking about before with, the China thing, was power and opportunity, right? You give humans the opportunity to take control and gain an immense amount of power in whatever dynamic. 9 times out of 10, they're going to take it. And then they're going to utilize it to their advantage. we can see that play out in a number of different areas throughout, politics and world economics, and even, even in your own home, right? Even in your own home. Let's break it down to, married couples, right? Most guys who are married, most husbands will say that the wife has a little bit more power in the house because she has a little bit more control, or um, she holds more power in the relationship, right? Because of, you know sex or whatever else. Most men will say that. Now, do some wives take advantage of that and utilize it to their advantage? Yes, I would say that some do. In my experience, some have. So, uh, it just, you can see it in a lot of different areas in life where you just give somebody the opportunity to have a little bit more power and they're going to take it. Uh, but I would recommend going and watching that documentary on Netflix. It was really good. I really enjoyed it. And like I said, it intrigued me to look into this case, and that's when I read about Alex Murdaugh lying on the stand about his whereabouts, and then what I had seen in the documentary, it said that he had driven to his mom's and was checking on his mom or whatever, and then like come back, and when he came back, he found them dead. Um, and to me, it seemed to me like he was covering something up, that Paul knew something or was going to say something or was going to do something, or put the family in jeopardy, and he took Paul out. And when his wife saw it happen, he had no choice but to take her out too. That's my assumption of how it played out. Um, but like I said, I didn't follow the case. I don't know the specifics, so I'm not really going to speak on it. That was just what I. That's what I've, you know, kind of deciphered from watching the documentary and then, reading a couple of articles about it. Um, but another thing I wanted to talk about today was the state of the Republican Party in American politics. Right now, it is fractured, to say the least. You have your America First Republicans, you have your Rhino Republicans, and then you have your Republicans who don't know exactly where they are. They're trying to fit into both categories and doing a very, very poor job, right? So this whole back and forth between Trump and DeSantis is getting a little bit stupid to me. Um, of course, Trump and his dumb, you know, rhetoric with he's Ron DeSanctimonious or whatever he called him, and I mean, come on, the childish games and stuff. That was funny in 2016 because you're going up against Hillary Clinton. Everyone and their mother, right, thought Hillary Clinton was going to win that election. And so it was fun and it was fresh and exuberant, right, to see that. Now we know what your game is. And how about you run on policy and promises, right? Run on what you did, your accomplishments. Don't worry about attacking Ron DeSantis or any of your opponents that come up in the primaries, like Nikki Haley or what's his name, Ramaswamy, or I think that's how you say his name, Vikram Ramaswamy. Sorry if I butchered that, but uh, those guys, like this, the whole name calling thing and making nicknames for them. That was funny whenever you were going up against all those rhino freaking Republicans in 2016, 2015. But come on, DeSantis isn't even declared he's going to run. Why are we even worried about Ron DeSantis? I wonder how many people in Florida are going to be happy that they're losing their governor, right? I mean, think about it. If you run a campaign where you talk about all the great things Ron DeSantis has done for Florida and why he needs to stay in Florida, then you don't have to attack him. You attack him by using his good deeds against him in a campaign to keep him in Florida. So that way, he doesn't even get the opportunity to announce his candidacy because you've taken all the wind out of the sails from everybody in Florida, at least, because they're not going to want to lose their governor. And so, what does it say to the country if the man who decides to run for president can't even win his own state that he governs because nobody wants to lose him as governor? Right? If you do a positive campaign where it's, to help you, right? It's going to benefit you too. Like because the more voters you sway to vote for you instead of him in a primary because you want him to stay as governor so that you guys can work together for the next 4 years. And then he'll get all your support in 2028 when he decides to run for president, right? So you put this deal out there to the American people and to the people of Florida and say, look, vote for me in the primaries so that you can keep Ron DeSantis as your governor. And then whenever I'm done, he can take over and we get 12 years of, America First Republican conservative presidents, right? And possibly even more if everything goes well, right? Fingers crossed, everything goes great. And, it just continues to move in that direction. But you never know how those tricky Democrats are going to sneak in a president every now and then. I mean, we did it to them in the 2000s, right? Like, and again in 2016. So, I mean, hopefully it doesn't follow suit, right? Like it doesn't follow pattern and we don't get another crazy Democrat for another 4 years. But there was this article I saw in Newsweek that just kind of was stoking the flames, right, of the whole DeSantis-Trump battle. It was Ron DeSantis praises lawyers suing Trump's biggest allies, right? And it talks about this lawyer. This ad's going to kick on. I'm going to try and prevent that from happening. But it talks about this lawyer. What's her name? Libby. Or it says down here somewhere. Libby Locke, right? She's suing Mike Lindell for defamation for Dominion. And let's just kill that. But in that article, right, it just talks about how this is gonna, piss Trump off because Mike Lindell is an ally of Trump's and so is Rudy Giuliani, who's also being sued by Dominion and a number of other people who were Trump allies. Fox News, I think that lawsuit may have been dropped, but it's just that whole neener thing. Like, well, look, Trump called him Ron desanctimonious. So now we have to run a story about how Ron DeSantis is talking to this lawyer and including this lawyer in a discussion panel when she's suing Trump's allies, for defamation and talking about how she's a great, First Amendment defamation lawyer. And it's like, okay, well, that was probably why Dominion hired her, because she's good at her job, and that's probably why Ron DeSantis used her because she's good at her job. So, but the fact that the whole thing was about her suing Trump's allies and how that's going to make Trump mad, and it's like, first of all, if it does, then Trump being petty is going to cost him the election. I'm going to say that right now, right? As somebody who voted for Trump in 2016, who voted for Trump in 2020, who will vote for Trump in 2024 if he runs correctly. But if I see another candidate who is running on an America First platform, who's saying all the right things, and who can convince me that he will tear down the establishment just like I think Trump wants to do when he gets in his second term, then I may pick that person over Trump if Trump continues with the whole childish, third grade name calling stuff. Like, that to me is just stupid. It was funny in 2016, and it's funny when you're cracking jokes about people who are attacking you. But I haven't seen Ron DeSantis really attack Donald Trump too much. So that whole thing is kind of really, I don't know, stupid in my opinion. But really, what we need, like, unfortunately, this country's never going to get a third party that's going to be substantial enough to combat the amount of money that the Republicans and Democrats raise every year for campaigns and, for campaign war chests and stuff like that. So unless you get a couple of billionaires like Elon Musk and, somebody else who decide we're going to fund the first, few runs of this campaign, of this party, by just dumping hundreds of millions of dollars into campaigns for a third party candidate and boosting that party up enough to to get into debates and stuff. Because the last third party candidate to get into a presidential debate, I believe, was Ross Perot. So that was like 1992. So we're talking 20, 30 years, right? We're talking 30 plus years since a third party candidate was able to step on a presidential debate stage. That's a problem, right? That's a problem if you're a, right leaning libertarian type person like myself. So I have a the Mises Caucus, libertarian movement. If you had the right candidate, right? Like, I've been saying this for a while, and if Tulsi Gabbard runs as an independent, she could garner enough donations and enough support from people around this country to make the presidential debate stage as an independent. But I don't know if she's going to run. If she does, all I got to say is you guys better look out, because I have a very, very strong feeling that she will really make the 2024 presidential race interesting. Imagine Trump versus Gabbard versus Biden on a debate stage. Come on. Who do you think wins there? the hell? That was weird. Ah, okay. That was weird. My other computer was jacked up. But anyways, so yeah, I think if Tulsi Gabbard runs as an independent, she could make the debate stage as a third party candidate, and that would really shake up 2024, right? Be pretty interesting to see. I would really enjoy the the campaign season if that were the case. Um, but one of the things that I like to focus here on my channel too is talking about the culture war and why we need to continue talking about these things and voicing our opinions and saying what we want to say and just getting things heard, right? And affecting culture. And so one of the things I like to do is there's a few artists I like to listen to that kind of hype me up and get me in that mind frame, right? To get to to focus on this kind of stuff and focus on talking about America first and what we need to do to save this country. Like I said in previous videos, that we have a great foundation and a great framework here with the Constitution and the way this country was designed and built. It just needs a remodel, right? We don't need to tear it down. We don't need to tear the whole house down. We just need to remodel the inside. Strip away a few things we don't need, add a few things, update a few things, right? It's like buying an old house. You want a great framework. Let's just gut the gut the inside and redo it, but keep the framework intact. That's my view on how we effectively correct the path this country needs to be on. But we need to do that with the right politicians, the right people, right? The right people talking on the internet and getting people thinking about this stuff and getting them thinking in a certain way and paying attention to certain things. And one of those things is, like I said, the culture war that we're fighting. And I've been I'm one of them people that I think music peaked in like 2005. Country music was the best between 1988 and 2000. There was no better time for country music than then. Hip hop and R&B, I would say, was from the 80s, probably 84, 85 to 2005. Rock and roll goes all the way back. I mean, like 60s, all the way until probably about 2005 as well, for me. Like as far as like all this new music and stuff is just terrible in my opinion. There's not a whole lot of great new artists that have come out over the last 20 years that I can, well, not 20 years, let's say 10 years, right? Because there have been some, like Bruno Mars is kind of great, kind of good, and I like some of his stuff, and there's a few other people that have, like, I don't know who else I can think of right now that I listen to consistently from that's came out over the last 10 years. Um, you know, there's not anybody really that I listen to consistently, right? There are some songs, individual hits that have been good by certain artists, right? But everybody can make a one hit wonder, in my opinion. I mean, the 80s and 90s were full of them. But some of the music I'm starting to listen to now is more home based. Like, no, not home based. That's a dumb. Like, I'm trying to think of how to phrase it. It's more, Christian American based music, right? These artists I found on YouTube, through just scrolling through and seeing their videos being suggested, and through that, watching more videos, listening to more music, getting them on Spotify, and really diving deep into some of their albums. And so a couple of artists I want to talk about are two that I listen to every single day. I listen to both these artists every single day, and that their music really, really, it speaks to me on it speaks to me, right? Like and for me that's how music has to be. It has to speak to me in a way that you know no one else can, and touch me in a certain way, right? And so one of the artists, well, two of the artists actually collabed on one of my favorite songs ever. Um, and so I wanted to talk about them real quick. It's Tyson James and Bryson Gray. Right. So I listen to both of these guys every single day. And this song, when it first came out, I thought it was freaking amazing. And now I'm not really sure about like the rules on YouTube live streaming and everything, but here, check this out. We'll stop it every so many seconds and talk about why this is such great music. And you can already see the intro is. My ops are trying to plot, but they will never win. Oh. I'm behind the cross and you will never find me. I'm on a mountaintop, I'm 20 steps ahead of them. All you fakes and all you phonies, you could get behind me. All you race baiters. Right, like that hit. I love how it hits. Like it just kind of slowly walks in, and then just that beat is it's banging, right? Like I don't know all the lingo and all that. To me, I love this song. Like it just the way the lyrics are and how it hits and what he's saying, right? Like that's what I'm talking about when I say when it speaks to me. The lyrics speak to me. The music gets me in that mood, right? I can move to that music. I like that beat. It's nice. It has a good flow to it, and then his lyrics just hit. And I mean, just hit. Like, listen to this. Stealing chains, you a slave labor. Now trying to be a friend, I'm a game changer. You follow the crowd, there's a way greater. But killing babies in the womb, I wanna take that to my tomb. I just told Kamala, get back on your broom and get out of my city. My kids won't be groomed. Bunch of beta boys support CRT. I mean, come on, right? That is just great. I would better tell Kamala to get back on her broom and get out of my city. My kids won't be groomed. Come on. I love that. That is so freaking awesome. And then, like I said, this music, it speaks to me. Like the lyrics. Just couple screws loose. Y'all are retarding. Then you vote for Biden like he could be our king. I got chains on you, but you're saying we are free. Now why did you move out the hood with your kids? Obama done got up the grid. Tell me a city majority black and everybody flocking and wanna go live. Ouch. I mean, come on. Like, this. Like, this whole song is just like it's like this, right? And Bryson Gray's verse is just as good. I don't know if I can play the whole thing, and so I'm not going to play the whole thing, but I recommend you guys go look up Tyson James and Bryson Gray. These are two artists that just are putting out great American first bangers, right? Like, just I love it. So go check those two guys out. But another guy that maybe not a lot of people now he's got way more subscribers on YouTube, and I really like his music a little bit more than these guys. Right? These guys are Christian rappers, and I like their rap. I like their flows. Their songs are great. Like Tyson James has some great songs like MAGA Country and My 2A, I think is the name of another song of his. So, and I mean, Bryson Gray has Let's Go Brandon and a couple other bangers that are pretty good. But one of my other favorite artists, right, that I like to listen to a lot is this guy Burden. And Mises, who does the verse on this that we're going to listen to, his verse is just straight fire. And so I wanted to play his verse a little bit and let y'all and see what y'all think about that, right? Because I think this is just fire. But he's got 430 some odd subscribers on YouTube, and so but his music, like he's got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 songs that I like listening to on a regular basis. I'll put some of these songs on repeat, like this one here, American Dream. This is one of my favorite songs. I'll listen to this 2 or 3 times in a row sometimes because I just love listening to this song. So check out this now. This is Mises, who is another independent hip hop artist. I've checked out some of his stuff too. It's all right. He's not as good as Burden in my opinion, but his verse on this song is freaking fire, and I wanted to play it. But the chorus to this song too is pretty cool. So I'm gonna play a little bit of it here.
Slowly been dying and becoming merely a dream. The man to be seen. We march through these streets. We know that you hearing our screams. American dream. We pay all these taxes, start to relax, and now we all falling asleep. All of you sheep better wake up or say goodbye to the American dream. Slowly been dying and becoming merely a dream. The man to be seen. We march through these streets. We know.
Right, like that. I love that chorus. Right, like it hits home when you start thinking about what's going on in this country and how things are falling apart and things are getting bad with inflation and all that other stuff. It's just, it makes you wonder, is there American dream anymore? Right. But I want to get to Mises' verse because like I said, it was fire. And I wanted to stop and make sure that I don't get hit with any like strikes or anything like that for, playing.
Know that you hearing our screams, American dream. We pay all these taxes and started relaxing, and now we all falling asleep. Or all of us sheep. We need to wake up and say goodbye to the American dream.
I have this dream I keep having, but it fades in and out like an addict relapsing. Sometimes I wonder if it's just my imagination, cause the nation is about is collapsing. It's under attack, but it's coming from within. I'm wondering if and when we'll ever wake up and shake up this government. Cause if we don't, then I'm sorry to say it. Land of the free, we can no longer claim it. This ain't entertainment, this my declaration. For my God, my family, and my generation.
I mean, come on. Like, if you don't get hyped up when you hear that, like that to me, oh man, that gets me going. I mean, my blood is pumping right now, like, cause that verse, like, it hits home. Like, come on, take a look around you and what's going on in this country today. And he's right. The land of the free, no longer we can claim it. If we're getting censored on platforms like YouTube and Twitter and for saying something that somebody may not agree with or whatever. And to me, this kind of music is really inspiring, right? Like, and that's what I'm looking for now. I still listen to like all the old stuff that I used to listen to, Pac and Dre and old country and stuff like that. But these new artists, this music is driving the culture force, in my opinion, right? It's driving how we should be attacking this culture war, right? This is the kind of stuff. And, there are other people, right? Like, Tim Pool, who is a, huge podcaster. And I mean, everybody who watches my stuff probably watches his too. So I would imagine you guys know, but Tim Pool does music too. And he tries to, make culturally relevant. There we go. Culturally relevant music. But what we need to be doing is exposing all of this stuff within our culture-based stuff. Like, so we need to be exposing the Democrats and the hypocrisy and everything through our music and through our videos and through our comedy and through our movies and whatever else we produce. That should be the goal, is to drive people to our culture, right? To believing in Christian values and all of that stuff. Oh God, got an eye itch. Oh, just hit me hard. But guys, I know that I didn't get a whole lot of viewers, and it is what it is. I ran the damn thing about 16 minutes too long on the opening, and that's why nobody hung around. So hopefully people watch this in the edited version. But I'm going to leave it there. I appreciate you guys watching. It does mean a lot to me that you've made it this far. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button, the notification bell, so you get notified anytime I drop a new video. The show is brought to you by the Hide and Seek Media Store. If you're like me and you like to spark a conversation, click the link down below. Check out all that cool merch. And if you use code 1776, I'll give you 20% off your entire order. Also, if you like the video, smash that like button, leave a comment, share this video.